Welcome back to GCTV. Welcome back to the build-up to the second round of the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix. We are currently in the city of Riyadh. This is the very first time that we conduct the playoffs here in Saudi Arabia, and we are halfway through tonight's Super Grand Prix in the King Abdullah Financial District in Saudi. And what a opening round this has been. We spoke to Frederick de Back a little bit earlier on to get some thoughts, to get some reaction. That leading group of clears that includes Gilles Thomas, that includes Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann, that includes championship winner Max Kuhne, but perhaps most importantly includes what many people believe to be the dark horse coming in. It includes Victor Bettendorf, who has looked absolutely sensational. He has looked untroubled. He has looked calm. He has looked so confident in that first round that I think it has made everybody stand up and start to pay notice to the man from Luxembourg, who, after winning the LGCT in Rome, now comes to Saudi and looks to try and go on and win the big prize at the end of the night. I remind you that at the start of the playoffs, we announced that there is over 11 million euros up for grabs throughout the entire week. Huge prize money for the best riders in the world here in Riyadh competing for those top prizes. This is the start list for the second round of the Super Grand Prix. This is how the riders are going to be coming out in a few moments' time as we get ready for that second round. And there's Jolie, the winner in Monaco, will be the first to go. Christian Kukuk, after a golden summer, had a run out with Just Be Gentle, and because of that saw 2 fences go down, pick up 8 penalties, and unfortunately will be quite early to go, as will Nicola Philippas and Johann Sebastian Gulliksen. Thibaut Spitz and the very, very impressive Impress K will then be 5th to go. And Eduardo Alvarez Aznar, on 19-year-old Rockfeller, who people were hoping for the fairy tale story, had a fence down that will see him then go in 7th place. It is the second page, though, that becomes the truly crucial page, because Peter Vos and his young 9-year-old Casual will be 9th to go. But those bottom 4 take nothing away as well, by the way, of Michael Duffy, who had no fences down but did pick up 2 time penalties, find himself somewhat in no man's land, locked between those on clear and on 4. Gilles Thomas, Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann, Max Kuhne and Victor Bettendorf. On Foxy de la Roque are the teams, or are the riders to look out for tonight going into that second round. We'll get some more reaction from Frederick de Back in a few moments. For now, let's go to Rosie Turner inside the ring. Rosie, course walk is officially underway. We'll get Frederick in there to start counting some strides and give us some feedback on some of those fences. But you are quite literally in the middle of all of those riders. I wonder and hope that there have been some comments that have been said in and around you. What have you picked up? How is it feeling inside there at the moment?
Yeah, well, absolutely, Mark. And as you said, Frederick will be down here counting strides, and I think we will need to do that. This is going to be a really difficult test for these partnerships here tonight. And actually, a lot of the riders are so focused, as you can imagine, a lot on stake here tonight. So we're just letting them walk the course quietly. I've spoken to a few of them who've said it's really difficult. It's really technical. It's as you would expect a Super Grand Prix to be. The other thing we need to add is that this second round is not just about jumping clear. Of course, you've got to leave those fences up, but as some of the riders have said to me, it's about time as well. You have to stay inside the time. I heard you mentioning Victor, who just seems to not be able to lose at the moment. Jana obviously having a bit of a difference. She had to go first in round 1. She now gets to go 3rd last in this one, so she has a little bit of an advantage there, but a lot of them looking incredibly tense. I have to say, the atmosphere down here is electric, but I'm making sure that I'm staying a little bit quiet to make sure that they can focus. But like I said, I've spoken to a few. It's difficult, it's big, it needs jumping. It's what a Super Grand Prix should be.
Rosie, let's talk about the comments from Christian Kukuk a little bit earlier on. I know you spoke to him after his round, and here is a man that many people had high hopes for, or were expecting the Olympic champion to go on and put together a really strong performance. And despite having 8 penalties and having that run out, it was superbly well handled. Talk to us about those comments made by Christian Kukuk, because despite the faults, he still seemed to be very, very impressed and happy with Just Be Gentle.
Yeah, and quite rightly as well, I think. You know, she's still a young horse, and he said she's still pretty green at this level. We see her quite often. We think that she's the most amazing horse, which she is, but she is still a little bit green. Just spooked on land. We've got one of the mascots here ready to join in with us as well. I'll let you get on your way and get going. But he just spooked slightly on landing, which didn't really give Christian much of a chance. There was no stride to get out of that. But the way that she recovered to still finish that line, and the way Kukuk picked up and thought, let's go, just shows that between the two of them, that partnership is so strong. And they really do have that strong partnership to be able to pick themselves up and continue with that line, because I think for a moment we all thought it's all over for them. She is a brave, brave horse with a brave jockey on board as well. So I think quite rightly, you know, he's disappointed, but he's also incredibly, incredibly pleased, and said to me actually that he then used it as a training round. Not the right time to use it as a training round, obviously, going into a Super Grand Prix, but she's still young. She's got so much more to come, and Kukuk's had a fantastic year as well. So heartbreaking, but wow, what a partnership to come.
Yeah, you make a great point. Still only just 10 years of age, just be gentle. Rosie Turner, thank you very much for your time. We'll let you continue on your way there. We'll try and bring Frederick into the show in a few moments' time. As Rosie said, this course needs to be walked. This course needs to be broken down for us. And that is where and how Frederick de Backer plays such a crucial role in this show, becomes such a crucial component of being able to help explain to us from a technical perspective how things maybe have changed from round one into round two. In particular, there was a fence that we spoke about where there was going to be 7 or there was going to be 8. A few riders bravely took 7, and some riders who took the 7 had that fence go down. So there have been some decisions that have gone one way or another between some of the riders. What then are some of those decisions going to be now for the second round that has been built for the upcoming Super Grand Prix? Frederick de Backer, let's come back to you. Let's talk about now this round that has been built, this ring that has been built for the second round. I'm not sure what else to say, my friend. I'll hand it over to you because I expect this to be big. I expect it to be challenging. Let's talk about how and where those challenges lie.
I agree, Mark. It is bigger. The 7 or 8 question is not so much a question in this course. First course was slightly more holding, if you remember, but there were options on the outside lines. You've got a very big ox already at 2, not maybe in size, but at width with those very annoying rails underneath. There's a huge vertical at 3 that was the last fence in the first round that is now converted into an upright. That's meter 65, and I think that if you would put a measure stick to it, we might just creep up a little bit higher. It's a quite 7 into the combination. And remember, Mark, we've spoken about this before. Super Grand Prix are not necessarily won on time. It's often somebody who stands alone on double clear or on 4 and they rest on higher scores. But if it would come down to time, Mark, this is a very interesting segment. You jump this double combination, that is number 4, and then there's an option. Do you go behind that global champions fence or do you go in front? We'll just go in front for the sake of it. That means that you have to land, get your one stride straight because it's a tall vertical out, maybe come in front, but how much will you win with that? I don't know. Does it then make sense to come in between here? I do think so. Don't go around that Longines piece. Stay in front if you want to be competitive. And then here you have got fence 5 and 5. That is a very square oxer. And then you have that issue with the pace, and if you have that pace, then the next line is difficult.
All right, we seem to have lost that feed from Frederick de Backer. Let's see if we can try get him back, because I do want to try get back, please. We do need to get more information from Frederick, so let's see if we can just test that line and get him back in. Frederick, rewind, back it up ever so slightly. I want you to try and give us that line once more, please, because I feel like there is still a lot of value that needs to come from that course walk. But he was trying to see how and where we can talk our way through the rest of that course walk. And while we do try get him back up, we love the idea of fans traveling from from all parts of the world and come to watch Longines Global Champions Tour. We've seen this in previous playoff years. We've seen this, in fact, in every single stage of an LGCT season. Because of the appeal, because of the riders that we have, because of the prize money, the locations, because of everything that the Longines Global Champions Tour stands for, it is a massive draw card for fans all around the world. We were able to catch up with some tourists, some fans that have traveled out here to Saudi Arabia, into the city of Riyadh, to go on and watch the wonderful spectacle that is the playoffs, to watch the LGCT Super Grand Prix. And Rosie caught up with such fans.
Yes, well, people travel from far and wide to come to these all-important playoffs, and none other than these three here, Nicole, Ruby and Riley, have travelled all the way from Australia. If you think you travelled a long way, these guys have gone a lot further. Ruby, you're a proper super fan. Why do you love this so much?
I love the atmosphere and watching all the riders jump these massive classes.
And what's inspired you? Because I know that you followed this around quite a lot.
Just seeing all the riders compete at such a high level is just so inspiring to me, and like gives me like what I want to do.
Okay, so you're right. I know Riley is actually your coach as well. Do you think Ruby can be here one day?
Well, of course. I mean, we were lucky enough to go out and walk the course just now. And I mean, for a young rider to get the exposure to an event like this, I mean, it doesn't get any better. The riders here have worked all year to come and compete at this, and it's all the winners. So I hope to be on the journey with her and see her get to the top as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruby, who are some of your idols that you're supporting this weekend?
Well, of course, Edwina tops Alexander, but I also love Marcus Erning, Jules Thomas, and Inez Jolly.
Just a few then, just a few smattering of them. When you're watching them in that arena, how impressive is it? Like you said, you've just walked the course. Those fences are bigger than you.
Yeah, they are.
It's amazing to be here and to see them. You've travelled all the way from Australia. Just tell people why you should travel, why you should come here, because you've gone to multiple stages as well.
Well, it's very rare to see a show like this in Australia, so it's very cool to get an exposure to a big show like this, and it's just a completely different atmosphere and everything, so it's great.
It is extraordinary. Nicole, you've been following Ruby around as well. What strikes you that is so impressive about this place?
Well, unlike most of the other shows we've been to, it's nice to go to a new culture and see some of the younger riders, because we've had some Saudi riders here that you don't get to see at the other shows. So that's been fantastic.
Well, listen, it's so great to have you all the way from down under Australia. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Guys, all the way from Australia, they've made a big effort. They've got to walk the course. They've got to be with some of the riders as well. What an experience. Back to you, Mark.
So that was a couple of fans that have now traveled all the way to Saudi to watch the GC playoffs in Riyadh, where we find ourselves, I beg your pardon, in Saudi Arabia here in the King Abdullah Financial District in Saudi. It is getting late and I'm an old man and is getting close to my bedtime. It's in fact actually well beyond my bedtime, and if there was ever a night that I am willing to push out that bedtime, it is on wonderful nights like this where we come out for the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix. That in itself, Rosie, does that not talk to us about just the appeal, the reach, the desire for people from all corners of the world to not just participate and witness and watch what it is we are doing, but to quite literally get onto planes, travel from all parts to physically be here and take in this energy firsthand?
Yeah, and what was really nice earlier, which no one else would have seen apart from me, but when I asked Christian Kukuk to come back for an interview earlier on today after his little mishap in the arena, two little girls ran up to him with their caps and asked him to sign them for him, so he did. And then there are a few younger children in there walking the course, getting a minute to have a look at this course, because it's so impressive when you actually do go up to those fences, and they've all got caps on that are filled with signatures from all of the riders. And I think that's so special that you've got youngsters coming here, and like I said, I went behind the scenes earlier as well into the village. So many children here that are getting just a glimpse of these special riders, of these special horses, particularly getting to walk the course as well, because I think on TV it looks one thing, but when you get up close it's a whole different ball game. But you never know. they might just inspire one little person to want to start riding, and we might see them here one day. So
Absolutely.
I think it's important to inspire them. I think it's important to have them here. But I just loved the fact, particularly after Christian had not had his best round, the fact that he was super happy to be there for the fans.
All right, well, let's take a look at some of those riders then that have jumped clear. We spoke about a group of 4 then finding themselves on clear going into that second round, and we will highlight those as arguably the 4 favorites then for this title. There are numbers, there are statistics that suggest that halfway lead is in the favor of Victor Bettendorf. There are statistics that suggest that no one has ever jumped a 4 in round 1 and then gone on to win. It can be clear in 4, but that fence going down in round 1 can often be a very difficult nail in the coffin to try and turn around. Let's start then with the man that everyone is talking about at the moment, Victor Bettendorf, and let's show you that round of Foxy De La Roque, jumping so superbly well. And I just reiterate how clean, how smooth, and how simple things looked for the man from Luxembourg as we see the last few moments of this round here. A lot of people have highlighted him as one of those to watch, but we thought with a Christian Kuckuck, we thought with Max Kuhne, we thought with Jana Frederica Meyer, with a Gilles Thomas, etc., that there is so much experience in and around him that perhaps this was not going to be the direction. And instead, Rosie, this has proven us completely wrong. I mean, this man looks as if he has been jumping for 25 years, that he has been part of the tour for 15 years, and that jumping at a 1.65 level is something he does in the backyard every weekend.
Yeah, not just him, but his horse. Foxy's only 9 years old and is jumping this. If we actually have a look at this sheet, you know, we've got a 9-year-old who is clearly the best at the moment. Gilles Thomas is on a 10-year-old Hermitage. We've got some young horses in there who...
Casual for Peter de Vos, impressed from Thibaut Spitz.
So many
one of the comments we made to Ben about how this is an opportunity for these young riders and for their young horses to come out and perform like this.
Yeah, and you can see with Christian Kuckuck, Just Be Gentle, still young as well, only 10 years old, and did have a bit of a spook in there. I also want to mention Rockefeller going in there, and actually Eduardo Asner said to me that despite his age, he still had a little spook at that wall, and I said he's jumped that 100 times in his life. So it's just proving how special it is. He is 10 years older than some of these horses in here, and he's still spooking. So for these 9-year-olds to come in and deal with this atmosphere and deal with these jumps is so impressive. But Victor, I mean, seriously.
It looks very difficult to look beyond him. It really, really does.
Who's going to beat him?
That's it. We're focusing on these top 4 and clear. Let's continue then down that journey. One would suggest that if Victor is to be challenged, it's going to come from one of these other 3 riders that now find themselves on that clear score going into the second round. We've spoken now, and we'll talk about Gilles Thomas. We'll talk about Jana Frederica Meyer Zimmerman, and one cannot then deny Max Kuhne, the 2024 LGCT season winner. Those 3 still remain on clear. Let's show you then those rounds and just bring you up to speed as to how they looked, because Max Kuhne himself looked incredibly calm, much like Victor Bettendorf. Here is the season winner. Here is Max Kuhne coming out on Electric Blue. And you talk about hitting your prime now with 13 years of age. Electric Blue just looks so comfortable and also looks so incredibly smooth. Max Kuhne is a man that has been jumping for decades, did not seem troubled at all, and again, had no difficulty with the time. Time was a comment that Rosie made a little bit earlier on, but doing it well inside the 81 seconds that had been allowed. It's difficult as well to look beyond a season champion, because here is a man with a string of horses, but here for tonight's sake, it's Electric Blue P. Here is a man with all of the experience, a man who has jumped throughout the entire season at very tough locations, Rosie, and also been able to deal with those challenges. So maybe before we jump onto the Victor Bettendorf train, we must remind everyone that there is outstanding experience and ability that is trying to wrestle that tag away of the favorite for tonight's second round.
Yeah, particularly as he came out of the arena, that really showed his experience to me.
What a smile on the face.
Day in the office.
Exactly, I couldn't believe it.
He came out to me, and I'm lucky enough, I'm in the warm-up with them, and I'm interviewing them afterwards. He came out to me, and I went, well done, Max. He went, yeah, thanks. And it was just so relaxed. It's another day in the office for him. That shows his experience as well. But Electric Blue is just, he is fantastic. That was like butter going around that course for them. It was so easy for them. Could he be the second only person ever to be the championship, to win the championship and be the Super Grand Prix winner? He'll have to I mean, he's got Victor in front of him. This is a problem. Victor's got it to lose, but never underestimate Max Kuhner in Electric Blue.
Absolutely. That double that Rosie talks about only having been done once before, and that was with Ben Mayer a few years ago as a seasoned champion, to then come to the playoffs and go on and win the double for the year. Wouldn't that be quite a story for Max Kuhner as well, if we were to round off this absolutely sensational year? Before we do get ready to go back for round 2, let's show you then those 2 remaining clears that now belong to Gilles Thomas and to Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann. If we are to be ever so bold and suggest that the winner will come from those 4 riders, Messi van der Rautershoff and Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann, as we said, Gilles Thomas and Hermitage Cologne. This man jumping as if he is 40 years of age and has been on a horse in this degree, in this level for the last 2 decades. Gilles Thomas, described by so many as the absolute future of show jumping, does it every single stage for the Global Champions League for his team, has gone on to win LGCT Grand Prix, did so earlier on this year, goes on to win an LGCT Grand Prix, get his golden ticket, come to a round 1 and jump that as if he is one of the riders that, without a doubt, at least bare minimum, a rider like that, a performance like that suggests a podium. Whether he wins it or not, we don't quite know yet, Rosie, but that to me is a podium delivering mentality that I see from Gilles Thomas at the moment.
He's so wise beyond his years, and Hermitage is just super cool. And actually, Gilles Thomas described Hermitage as super cool when I spoke to him the other day about he's just relentless. He will jump anything, that horse, but it was phenomenal to watch him. And Gilles Thomas has got such a cool head on him to go in there like that. He's still a young rider. I mean, look at the list.
26 years of age.
And look at the list of people that he's up against, and he goes in there like it's a 2'6" round when he was little again. But it's phenomenal to watch him, and the way he went in there was such a strong head. I mean, he definitely deserves a podium.
I think about, and whilst we show you the round of Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann going first today on Messi van der Rautershoff, I think about the comment that was made to us yesterday by Geert Gulliksen for the Scandinavian Vikings in the GCL Super Cup semi-final. We always ask these riders, these combinations, how does it feel to go first? And the comment made by Geert Gulliksen was that sometimes first is not a bad idea because there's no one to have gone before you to mess with your plan. So, drawn by computer, of course, Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann was given the first position, and she came out as if she has watched this round 10 times over, had picked up all of the errors, knew where the areas of concern were. And again, we've talked about Messi so many times. And Rosie, before we close and before we say goodbye, Messi has that experience, still only 12 years of age, but jumps superbly. We know that Jana is also a born winner, and nothing should be stopping us from saying that she, in fact, could take this all away from everyone and be crowned champion later on tonight too.
Yeah, and Jana said to me after her round, actually, I questioned that, well, how tough was it to go in there first tonight? Because you don't get to watch anyone. And she said, yep, when I saw the draw, and I can't repeat what she said, when I saw the draw...
There may have been a few expletives used, but that was the passion and energy from Jana.
But then she pulled herself together, she said, and she got on with it. And actually, in a way, like you said, that actually when you go in there and you don't have any distraction from what any other rider has done. And she then said in the last jump, she really had to take a flyer. She really pushed Messi into that fence. And she kind of talks with this communication with her horse as well, as if they're chatting the whole way around. And she said, go on, Messi. And Messi just had to fly. And boy, did he fly.
How the gelding responds is just unbelievable. We will have the winner of tonight's Super Grand Prix in the studio later on tonight. If you want to send your question through to us, if you want your thoughts to be included in the GCTV live studio, feel free to reach out to us on social media. We will sift through the questions. The social media team is on site. They are there in the media center. They are going through your questions at Longines Global Champions Tour. We will go through the best. We will select the best. And hopefully your question can be one of those that is asked to the winner of tonight's Super Grand Prix. That now will be decided. Probably in the next 40-odd minutes or so, we will have a champion of the Super Grand Prix. Rosie, we'll let you get back into the warm-up. You have riders to interview. We have a second round to show you. Stay with us here on GCTV. A lot of the action still to come. We are live from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. This is round 2. Let's go and join the action up next.